1-hour interview, didn't ask me a single question. I went in for an interview at this new, fancy hotel that opened up in my city. Interview started at 10, ended around 11:15. The whole time the hiring manager was talking about how great the company is. Her vacation she just took with her family. Her son graduating high school. And about her has a teenager in high school. Not once did she ask me about anything on my resume. Or anything about me. When she would talk about the company and what it has to offer, she would immediately talk over me if I had something to say like, "That's wonderful to hear about the company." Quote, at the end of the interview, she didn't even offer me a position. She just told me that she was going to email me new hire paperwork to fill out and that my start date was the following Monday. I laughed about it with my mom afterwards because it was such a weird experience. It's been a while since I have had interviews. Is this normal now? Lol. It sounds like they were required to do an interview but they had already decided to give you a job. I had an internal interview very similar to that. The boss, whom I would work for 10 years, was telling me about the department, all the things they were doing. 20 minutes in, I tried to pivot to selling myself, but I quickly realized the job was already mine. Worked out real well for me. This happened in my most recent interview I had with an aviation company. I was sat in a conference room and a panel of 7 came in to interview me. All in all, I was asked about 5 actual interview questions, mostly about my background and why I wanted to work there. For the rest of the interview that went for about an hour, we were all just having conversation, joking, and laughing. They said they'd be in touch in about a week after the interview ended, but I instead got a call half an hour later telling me the position is mine. People say it's a red flag about the company, and it very well could be. But in my opinion they already know if you'll be a good fit for the job based on your resume and background. I've heard of more companies doing interviews more or less to see if you have a personality that would work well with their company, team. Roll with it, you can always keep looking, just in case. Good luck. Update please. Not quite the new normal but is getting more common. A lot of places have such a hard time hiring that a qualified applicant gets snatched up right away. That's how my last interview went. He just told me everything about the company and what the job is about, and I've been working there for about 3 years now and loving it. It was probably checking your personality. If you're in a front-facing position with not a lot of technical skills, they probably wanted to see if you were able to be a normal person. Congrats on making a new friend. Every time they talk, they think you're good. So if they talk the whole time they're gonna think you're aming. You were already hired before the interview ever started. 20 years ago I'd call this a red flag. But now, I'd be happy the manager you spoke to sounds like a normal human with a life and a family. Getting the person to talk about themselves and their role in the company as much as possible is always my goal in an interview. It leaves a way more positive impression than if I actually have to talk. Listening, as a skill, cannot be overrated. You basically got the job. I've had interviews where they're basically telling me the start date because of my experience. Roll with it, and if you find out that the reason you got the job so early was because it blows ass, dip. They know they want to hire you, so they are trying to sell you the job. Sounds like they may be required to do a minimum 1-hour interview. They are desperate need of people to have you start next Monday, and she couldn't risk asking any actual questions that might screen you out of the position. 17 years ago I worked for my state government. 99.9% of the time they had the candidate they were going to hire already selected. Made me feel bad for the people taking PTO from work, wearing a suit, etc., coming in and interviewing knowing they had zero chance getting the job. No, this is not normal. Seems like they're desperate to hire anybody with a pulse. Probably because working there is so bad they can't keep anybody. Definitely a red flag. If you kept this person taking like that, I would take it as a good sign. Sometimes experience doesn't matter as much as what your personality is like. Just mirror their posture and ask open-ended questions while showing genuine interest, and they will walk away thinking you're a super interesting person and will want to work with you. Sounds weird, but it's a thing. Yes, that's what they do when they're desperate to hire. They just talk. I've had one of those interviews. It went for about 1.5 hours with the CEO talking about him. Towards the end I just wanted to get out of there to go to the bathroom lol. Also, I later found out that everything he said about the company was a pile of lies. Open mouth smile. Sometimes interviews are as much about convincing the candidate to take the job as it is about making sure the candidate is qualified. I have seen some really great candidates who needed to be sold on the company rather than the other way around. A good boss knows the employees have options. It's a little weird not to be asked at least some questions. But some managers just really love to talk.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.